Welcome CRM crew, my name is Nick, and in today's quick tutorial I'm going to be explaining what are and how to use lists in your HubSpot CRM system. So once you log into HubSpot CRM, of course you'll come to the home screen. Now in order to get to lists, we need to go to the contacts tab at the top left hand side here, using the drop down menu, and then go down to lists at the bottom. Now I will quickly explain what lists are. Essentially it's a means of creating a data set using criteria that allows us to see only records inside of the HubSpot system that match that data or meet the requirements or the criteria that you specify for that particular list. So it's like using filters and then just saving those filters so you can then refer back to those filters as lists at any stage. It's a really useful tool. It makes things really quick and easy to find, especially if you're looking for specific pieces of data or records that are matching specific pieces of data. So if that didn't explain it, I will quickly walk through how to create a new list, and hopefully that gives you a good idea as well. So in order to create a new list, we need to go to the create list button at the top right hand corner here. Once we press that button, we will then be given two options. We can either create a contact based list or a company based list. So contacts is obviously the contact record, and then company is obviously the business or the account record. So it's entirely up to you which one you choose. They're exactly the same. It's just using criteria based on different fields for either the contact or the company. I'm just going to use contact for this example. And then we need to give our list a name. So of course, give it a name that is applicable to the list. In this instance, I'm just going to call it test as our example. And then we need to decide whether this is an active list or a static list. So active lists are essentially lists that are constantly updating. Anytime a record meets a new criteria, it then gets put into that list. Whereas a static list, you run once and it gives you the feedback or gives you the records that match criteria. And then in order to get the updated information, you have to run the list again. So active is essentially a rolling list, and static, it happens once, and then in order to do it again, you have to manually run the list. So I'm going to leave it as active, and then just need to press the next button in the top right hand corner here. Press next, and then from here we can start using our fields to set criteria for our list. So we've got all of these, obviously contact, quote, company, etc. Everything that relates back to contact. I'm just going to use our contact property and then add a particular field. So if I have a quick look, I'm going to add last activity date, and then obviously you've got the various options: is equal to, before, after, in between, more or less, and you'll have a variety of these different options for all the different fields. They will differ from field to field. So for a date field, you get something different to a name field or an option set, for example. But have a play around. It is very self-explanatory. And then once you have a play around, just select the most applicable one or what you want to see from the list. So I'm going to just say not up, that is unknown, for example. So last activity date is unknown. I'm going to apply that filter and then do that down the bottom left here. And then we can add additional filters. So you could do an and or an or. So an and is last activity date is unknown and another field is equal to something. Or you could have the last activity date is unknown or another field is equal to something. So this is how we can really start to narrow down really specific data inside of the HubSpot system. And you know, this is a great way of finding those records that match very, very certain criteria. So feel free, again, just either press the and or button, and then you'll get the filter types again. And that same applies for the or button as well. So feel free to have a play around. And then once you're happy, once you've created the list that suits you and suits what you need to find, all you need to do is press the save list button in the top right hand corner here. If you just press that button, that list will then automatically save. You'll be able to see the list once it's finished processing of all the contacts that match the filter criteria or the criteria we have set. And then, as this is clearly taking a while to load, I'm just going to go to the top left hand corner, the arrow where it says back to lists. If we press that button, we'll be able to see all of our lists that we've created. And then in order to go on a list, we just need to press that particular button, and then it will run the information and give us the records that match that particular list. And that is how to create lists and what are lists in your HubSpot CRM system. I hope this video has clearly explained what are and how to use lists in your HubSpot CRM system. If you do have any further questions, please drop me an email. My details are in the description below. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you shortly in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.